No long intro this time, I'm just going to get straight to it. This move is bullshit and needs immediate nerfs now. Not changes, nerfs. So it was showcased at EVO 2024 how unfortunate the game design is for certain aspects of this game. I think Tekken is pretty sick and they did a pretty good job with it in a lot of places, but they really missed the mark in very key elements because Tekken is supposed to be a very interactive game where the moves are designed to have flaws on purpose, but this move has no flaws. It has zero counterplay when you're in this position exactly. So, not this position of getting the back. This is a demonstration that I've set up ahead of time. So, what are you supposed to do in this position as counterplay? So, discount this being in the back. This is just for educational purposes. What are you supposed to do in this position? When Dragunov knocks you down, so either when he gets a combo and does a wall ender, or ends his combo near the wall naturally during play, what are you supposed to do in this position? Getting up and taking the mix leads to chip damage, so you're adding on extra damage to Dragunov's combo already as soon as it ends, and you're at -7 at the wall. Or, additionally, if you don't wake up because it hits grounded, they take 21 damage for trying to challenge Dragunov's ability to freestyle on them. Because it hits grounded and does chip damage and does huge block stun, there is zero counterplay for this move. The only thing that the opponent could reasonably do is challenge it maybe with get-up kicks, but the reason that this is complete dog shit is because of wall splats. It does everything. It does everything. There's zero counterplay, and the reason that it's so egregious and unfortunate of design is because in Tekken, they design moves with flaws, and you're not supposed to get greedy. You only get greedy when you set up the position, or you think you can capitalize on that greediness by scouting your opponent's timing. You think they're going to block here, you think they're going to mash here, or you think they're going to step and you do your homing move. You have to set it up. There is no setting this up. You go greedy, and actively doing anything else is a bad play because this move does everything. If they get up, then they have to eat the -7. If they don't get up, then they take 21 damage on top of already whatever your combo did when you end near the wall. And then let's say it just hits, then you do a wall combo, 27 damage as a starter at the wall. You get your tornado too with your back 2-1. So it's like there's nothing you can do about this move. And that's not what Tekken's about. You're supposed to be able to do something. You're supposed to be able to do something at all. So I really like game design. I think game design is really interesting, and so I wouldn't bring it up if I didn't have any solutions. That's why I set these characters up in this specific way. So if you look at the animation of the attack, he does this big axe kick that chops downwards at a diagonal, so starting from the enemy character's right of their face, down left, and then down towards their pectoral. Because he's swinging his leg downward, I'm thinking to change the properties of the attack to actually make it to where there's counterplay, you would make it to where it doesn't wall splat anymore. It does like a back splat. So imagine that this isn't back turn. This is Dragunov hitting with this move, but from front facing here. Because it does an axe kick, it would turn them around, because he's slashing and cutting downwards, and assumedly the momentum would go downwards and to the floor and turn them around because he's hitting them with this huge axe kick. So imagine I'm not hitting with my back 4-3 here. I'm actually hitting with the critical forward 4. That would go a long way, because when you splat someone in the back like this, you get such shitty options. You can't really do much here. I don't really play Dragunov either, so it's like I can't maximize it. But you see how shitty the situation is. Like I can't get much from this position. So if you did that, that would go a long way to reducing its power and that making the wall splat, so that the simple property itself is, not a big deal. So that's already fine because it's chip damage. So when the opponent wakes up to block, they take more damage already. Trying to block, they take damage because it does chip and is -7 for them. So if you took away the wall splat, it would really help. So That's the first change, is it does this back splat on normal hit, not back facing. On normal hit from the front, it would do this back splat because he does this big axe kick chopping motion, which you could make an animation to turn him around so that it would do this back splat. And then the second nerf would be to make it to where it hits grounded. So the reason that this is important is because in Tekken, one of the most interesting things about it is that chasing how the opponent chooses to get up off the ground is so rewarding and diverse. And when you dilute the game to just being like, yeah, I'll just do my plus on block mid that also hits grounded, you're taking decision making out of the hands of the player. I said earlier about greed, but that's really what it is, because Dragunov is taking zero risk in him choosing the most shit-eating, grittiest, like, most awful, greediest decision is what is rewarded, because when he stands up, he gets that +7. So it's like, this is a greedy option because he gets to have his cake and eat it too. There's no decision making in this process here. It is, I do this and do nothing else, and everything else is actively the worst play you could make. Whereas just doing some dumb thing over and over again like this is the correct way to do it. A character like Kazuya, he has to play well and then choose his spots where he gets greedy with his hell sweep or with his mix-up situation like that. But it's Dragunov, he just is greedy, and that's what's rewarded. Him being greedy is rewarded. There's not counterplay to his greediness. It's being not greedy and having any semblance of fair play is actively a bad idea because it's not rewarded by the system. But because he does chip damage and the opponent is -7 and it wall splats and it hits grounded, there's nothing you can do. There's just nothing you can do when you're trying to wake up versus Dragunov. You waking up and being like, okay, I'll play your game. It gets you chip damage and it gets you -7. It's just ridiculous. So if you took away this ground hitting property, that would open up that Tekken theory of design where moves have flaws and that there is counterplay, because technically this move is linear, but it's like that doesn't really matter that much when you just look for the situation in which you can apply it, the wall, and then you just do it here when you're waking them up. It's like it doesn't really matter if that flaw exists if you could just do this, because no other character really has something like this. They have to win a position very seriously to have anything on the level of this, but it's just outstanding, and it really came to a head at EVO 2024, and very unfortunately made our game look awful. This is an amazing game, but it showed the flaws that the game designers have, because they don't have the greatest design intention on all of their moves. It became very apparent, and it's like the crowd was pretty dead for everybody except for Keisuke and Arslan. Arslan low-key became the hero because he was the only guy that could survive the Dragunovs, because he was just that cracked at Tekken that he could beat Sergei. But anyway, so the two changes that I would make would be on normal front-facing hit, it would do this back splat so you get shitty combos. On regular hit, it's still okay because you'd still do the chip, you'd still be the -7, so you'd still have that ridiculous situation, but it wouldn't, just completely destroy you. You'd get a chance. And if it did this back splat and didn't hit grounded, that also means that they couldn't repeat the situation. They'd have to make a choice on how they want to wake you up. But as it stands, they don't have to make a choice on how to wake you up. Waking you up and obtaining plus frames is the same thing, and it always damages the opponent because it does chip. There is zero counterplay, and that's why it needs to be nerfed, not changed, actively made worse because it's too good. This is a broken move, and I do not use that term lightly. People who do not understand game design think moves are broken because they're pretty good or exceptional. This is a broken move. This is not an exceptional move. This is exceptional in every category. All 4 categories a move can be exceptional in is exceptional. That's what a broken move is that it's exceptional in all categories and there is zero counterplay. That's what a broken move is. This is broken. And then one last thing. The reason that this shouldn't hit grounded because then, like I was saying about greediness, it opens up the design space. For that aspect of greediness. If Dragunov wants to get greedy here on like his wake ups on him waking you up, that's what happens when he tries to get greedy, and it opens up the design space because this hits grounded too. This is something that they gave him in 8. This is a new move they gave him in 8 for some plus frames if you're not respecting it. So if Dragunov wants to hit you grounded and wants to get greedy, he has to take risk on waking you up, which would mean this. Well, he didn't turn around. If he wants to take risk on waking you up, right, he has to do that. He has to commit to something that they can launch him easily for, which starts to give intention and counterplay to the design. Because as it stands, this is completely fucked up. If Dragunov wants to get greedy, it should actually be greedy and allow the opponent to do something about it. This, as it stands, is completely greedy, and the opponent just it simply cannot do anything. It's absurd. Because them laying on the ground gets them nothing, them trying to attack gets them wall splatted for full combo damage, and then them being like an ultra giga chad and actually saying, you know what, I will take the mix up, gets them -7 and chip damage. It's absurd. It needs to be nerfed immediately. Immediately. That's the reason that Dragunov was showing up at the most prestigious tournament in the highest numbers, because this character, once he gets in this position, 0 counterplay. Just run the mix, 0 counterplay, wall splat. It's so disadvantageous for the defender. It cannot even be explained how disadvantageous for the defender it is. People say Elisa's Chainsaw has 0 counterplay, and the counterplay is hard. It's very difficult to do, but there is counterplay for Elisa's Chainsaws, and at the very least, the most difficult part about it is that it's tied to a resource, which is heat. This requires no resource and is always fucked up. Until they nerf it, it's always fucked up. They could nerf Dragunov in 10 million trillion different ways, but if they don't nerf this, it does not fucking matter. It does not fucking matter.